And Caitlin Clark herself. I'd hope to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play the season. I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I'm feeling. I want to thank everyone who has had my back through all this uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating, but even in the bad, there is good. And the way the fans continue to show up for me and for the Fever brought me so much joy and important perspective. I'm so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through adversity this year. Now it's time to close out the season and claim our spot.
The WNBA is facing a tough reality without Caitlin Clark. TV ratings are dropping quickly, ticket sales are falling, and the league's reputation is taking a big hit. Right now, the only team that still seems full of hope is the Indiana Fever.
So it's official. The most heartbreaking news for Indiana Fever fans that could come of the season, but Caitlin Clark will not be returning to the 2025 WNBA season. She took the liberty of posting it herself because there were many people asking to hear from Caitlin Clark, to hear how she felt about the entire situation, because a lot of people felt like it was the front office that was kind of making all of these.
After Caitlin Clark's season-ending injury announcement, the WNBA's historic growth slogan suddenly feels weak and forced. Now, team owners aren't just uneasy, they're in full-on panic mode.
The norm for the WNBA is being largely ignored by the media. Largely ignored by sports media. Not considered a real professional league, to the point where people didn't even know it existed until CC22. That's just a fact. You can't believe how many times I have people come in the chat and say, I didn't even know that there was a professional women's basketball league until Caitlin. Yeah, it's the facts.
If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. Caitlin Clark, the star of the league, is officially out for the rest of the season. Now, WNBA executives are scrambling to handle the fallout. After months of unclear updates and no set return date, Clark finally gave the news they feared most. She won't be coming back this season.
Fever and Clark saying that she tried to get back on the floor. It appears that she just ran out of time, not able to get enough confidence back in her body as the season wraps up and the playoffs are likely about to begin for Indiana. I mean, it's a gut punch that basically encompasses an entire season of them. The Fever have lost so many players to injury, but obviously none bigger than Clark. And there was such a wait for this second season after her magnificent rookie season. And then, you know, the anticipation of her possibly coming back only.
The Fever can finally stop pretending there was a chance for a comeback. There's no schedule, no timeline, just a huge gap where the league's biggest star used to be. Now, panic is spreading quickly through the league's front offices.
When she was supposed to return versus the Minnesota Lynx, supposedly, and then the Scott Agneses and all them start talking about she suffered a bone bruise in Phoenix, I told y'all it was a wrap. It was done. It was done. They knew it. And I believe they've known far longer. They have known. They've kept us fans in the dark, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. Man, I was so looking forward to watching Caitlin Clark play this season. Now we have to wait an entire offseason, and we don't even know what's going to happen. There might be a lockout. There might not even be a 2026 season, guys.
Here are the numbers. When Caitlin Clark was healthy and playing, the Indiana Fever averaged 1.26 million viewers per game. But after her groin injury on July 15th, national TV ratings dropped to 847,000, a massive 53% decline. And that was when fans still believed she might come back. Now that she's officially out for the season, the ratings crash is only going to get worse.
This has been a huge disaster as far as public perception for the WNBA. An entirely new group of people started tuning in to this league for one player and one player only. In fact, so many new people tuned into this league, the viewership for the Caitlin Clark games largely surpassed anything else going on in the WNBA. I would argue that the amount of Caitlin Clark fans are at least 3x the amount of WNBA.
Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA doesn't feel like a thriving league, it feels like a group of players wondering why fans aren't watching. The league tried to show it could survive during her injury break, but the results were a disaster. Viewership on NBA TV dropped 40% without her, and non-Clark games averaged 549,000 viewers, still 37% less than what her games alone brought in. The gap between Clark's games and everyone else's is so obvious it's almost laughable. The real panic isn't just about her injury, it's that the league's entire marketing plan is falling apart without her.
Team, because she knows just how much she means to everybody that buys those tickets. I mean, I would say at least like 90 to maybe not 95, but like 90% of the people in arenas were there to see Caitlin Clark, which of course they became fans of the Fever afterwards, but you know, Caitlin Clark is the draw. And then here's this one where she's actually in her street clothes. And yeah, these are, you know, pretty heartfelt photos, her in the huddle with her teammates. But I gotta say, this was quite a year. I mean, there came a certain point where people, including myself, were just like, what is actually going on? I think that it's time. It was definitely time to tell.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert can call Caitlin Clark the most popular athlete in America, but that comes with a heavy responsibility. When a league's success depends on one player's health, every injury feels like a crisis. The WNBA spent decades trying to build a stable product, and then Clark arrived and instantly became the line between relevance and irrelevance. Now, picture the upcoming playoff finals. Without Clark, the Indiana Fever, currently 21-20 and hanging on to 8th place, may not even make it in. The team that was expected to be a championship contender is instead fighting just to survive, missing their leader, their marketing star, and their biggest ticket seller.
Here, Indiana Fever will be either a first-round exit or may not make the playoffs. I really believe that Mystics game is a trap game. Also, I don't know if they have all the pieces anymore now with Chloe Bibby out for the rest of the season, another random player. But we drafted her, we kind of know her, but still, she wasn't part of the team for the majority of the season. And then Aerial Powers and Odyssey Sims and Shea Petty. Who are these people? You know what I'm saying? The Indiana Fever are no longer the Indiana.
The financial impact of Caitlin Clark's absence is massive. Sports economist Ryan Brewer estimated her influence could reach $1 billion this season, not just from ticket sales, but also merchandise, tourism, TV deals, and everything that comes with being a cultural icon. Meanwhile, other players are still struggling to turn social media attention into real money. Clark's edge isn't only her basketball skills, it's her star power and ability to make people care about women's basketball. The jealousy among players will only grow now that the spotlight is gone for 2025. Clark took more physical abuse than anyone else in the league, and injuries were bound to happen. Since the WNBA built its marketing strategy almost entirely around her, protecting her should have been the top priority. Instead, the league failed, and now they're paying the price with empty arenas and cancelled broadcasts.
The WNBA ratings' worst nightmare just came true because it was just announced that Caitlin Clark will be out for the rest of the season. She's only played 13 games this season, and her most recent injury, which happened back in July, was a groin injury. The craziest part about all of this has been the reporting around her injury. The team has never given her a timetable for return, and literally up until today, the team had been reporting that she was still trying to get back on the court this season. The Fever only have 3 regular season games left in the season before playoffs. Some fans were even speculating that they've just been stringing fans along the whole time because they know that ratings and attendance would drop once they announce that she's out, which is also so ironic that they announced it the day that football season starts.
Here's the harsh truth about Clark's injury break. The league tried to create drama with other storylines, but fans didn't care. Angel Reese's games without Clark drew crowds smaller than a high school JV matchup. The Chicago Sky, who built their season around being Clark's rivals, went from playing in front of 20,000 fans against the Fever to just 6,000 without her. When Clark got hurt before their June game, ticket prices fell from $86 to $25 in only 2 days. That's not a dip, that's a collapse. The desperation was obvious. Teams moved games to bigger arenas expecting Clark to play, then couldn't move them back when she got injured. The Washington Mystics even shifted a game to Baltimore for the Clark crowd, only to see ticket prices crash from $41 to $14 once she was ruled out. And while ESPN's Power Index gives the Fever a 97.4% chance of making the playoffs, That number assumes they can keep winning without their best player, top scorer, and biggest draw, which looks unlikely.
This season has been a complete train wreck. This season's been a complete disaster. We got the GOAT, who only played 13 games, missed basically the whole season. Dewana Bonner scammed us. Natasha Howard basically scammed us. Stephanie White's a liar. Amber Cox is a liar. Kelly Krauskopf's a liar. Now we have to go a whole offseason with the front office we don't trust, we don't believe in, we can't believe anything they say, and we don't know what's really going to happen with Caitlin Clark's health.
The emotional impact of Clark's announcement is huge. Fans who spent months buying tickets, planning trips, and watching every game are now saying the one thing the league dreaded: if she's out, I'm out. Many casual fans who first started following women's basketball because of Clark are already gone. Corporate sponsors who invested in her name are rethinking their deals. TV networks that built their schedules around Fever games now face the possibility of a disastrous finals. They expected record playoff numbers, but without Clark, the harsh truth is clear: most casual fans don't care about Liberty versus Lynx. What they cared about was Caitlin Clark against everyone.
Caitlin Clark was hurt after that Liberty game. That's when they should have said, we need to wait this out until the All-Star break. But instead, they worried about their ticket sales, TV ratings, and all this stuff. So they actually had Caitlin Clark come back a couple weeks earlier than expected, and I think that's the real reason why she's out. They mismanaged this entire season. I don't respect the GM. I don't respect the president anymore. I really don't respect the coach. They all lied on false pretense. That's all they did. They kept lying and lying and kept stringing Caitlin Clark like a carrot on a string. And all these fans kept going to the games hoping that she'll come back.
The effects of Clark's announcement go far beyond the court. TV networks are already bracing for a ratings disaster. ESPN and ABC, which saw ratings fall 55% during her earlier absence, now face the reality of an entire playoff run without the league's biggest star. These networks built their women's basketball coverage around Clark, and now they're learning just how much they depended on her. What makes this even more striking is how Clark handled it. She could have dragged things out, kept hope alive, and let the league pretend she might return for the playoffs. Instead, she ended the speculation with perfect timing, delivering the hard truth no one wanted to hear: she's done. The Fever's title hopes are gone, and the WNBA's biggest attraction is officially sidelined.
Not only a huge blow for the Fever, but also for the entire WNBA. Caitlin was out with an injury back in June. Viewership dropped over 50% across the league. That's the kind of effect that she has on things. And it seems like from her post and how they announced it, Caitlin was the one that was trying so hard to get back on the court. She has traveled to every single away game. She's always meeting with fans, taking photos, signing autographs, doing all of the things because she knows how many people come out specifically to see her. But I'm really interested to see what viewership and attendance looks like now that it's official that she's done. The hope is gone.
The league spent months trying to sell the idea that its growth wasn't just about one player. But Clark's announcement proved that was nothing more than a marketing myth. Without her, the WNBA slips back to what it was before she arrived: a niche league with a loyal fan base, struggling to fill 10,000-seat arenas and barely making a dent in TV ratings. This isn't just bad news for the Fever, it's a full-blown crisis for the entire league. The WNBA built its 2025 marketing plan around her comeback, its TV deals around her games, and its attendance goals around her star power. Now they're left with overpriced playoff tickets for games most people don't want to watch. The worst part? It didn't have to be this way. If the league had managed her minutes, protected her better, and put her health before quick cash grabs, she might still be healthy and leading a playoff run. Instead, they let her get targeted, worn down, and injured until she couldn't continue. It's a textbook example of how to ruin your most valuable asset.
This has been a full circle moment for the WNBA. With all the chatter of Kathy Engelbert saying, oh, if one player gets injured, one player, well, you have it. That one player got injured. And now you have it. There's no conversation around the league. No positive, no negative, no conversation at all. The only media talking about the WNBA are the content creators, are the YouTubers, are people with podcasts, people with their own shows, etc., etc. But you go on to ESPN, nobody's talking about the W. You go on to Fox Sports, nobody's talking about the W. The WNBA has managed to turn off a fan base that would have elevated this league into...
So now, fans are walking away, saying, if she's out, I'm out too. The casual viewers who first found the WNBA because of Clark are gone. Sponsors are rethinking their deals. TV networks are bracing for ratings disasters. And league executives are finally facing the truth. Caitlin Clark wasn't just their biggest star, she was the entire product. The WNBA wanted to show it was bigger than one player, but her season-ending announcement proved the opposite. The Queen made her decision, and now the league has to deal with the fallout. Spoiler alert, the playoffs will be long and painful without her.
I've got a couple of things. I've got my dude, Jason Whitlock, saying he's done. He's out. We've got Colin Cowherd saying, you know what? Guess what I didn't talk about on my show this year? The WNBA. Guess why? He just come out and said it yesterday. Because Caitlin Clark was not playing. That's why. He said, I led my show, my biggest, largest national sports radio show in the country. I led my show with Caitlin Clark 6 times last year. I mean, you don't lead a show with anybody.
This may be the harshest move Caitlin Clark could have made for the WNBA, and that's exactly why it makes her a queen. Sometimes the most powerful statement is stepping away and letting everything fall apart without you. The panic is real, and the ratings crash is coming, while Clark gets to sit back and watch it unfold. The league is about to learn a brutal lesson. If you build everything around one player, you'd better protect and support that player. The WNBA failed to do that, and now they're about to see what life looks like without their golden goose. Spoiler alert, it won't be pretty.